Hello, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing great tonight. This is a mushroom project. I hope you love mushrooms as much as I do. I really do. Mushroom decor is so much fun. And I found these cutouts and I thought, oh my gosh, we have to do a project. So I already started painting some of them. They are shelf sitters. And they are layered. Okay, so we're going to do a couple different things. Finish painting these. I do have a transfer to go with them. And then I would like to decoupage them too. I have my little heat press ready and waiting. Keyword tonight is mushroom. Let me see if I can't get my video pulled up. Here we are. Welcome to the party. All right, so I'm using this, what is this, Castle Folk Art Home Decor Chalk Paint. So let me just finish painting these up really quick and then we can move on to decoupage, which I love. We are going to use some scrapbook paper and hopefully it's going to turn out really cool. So like I said, they are layered and these have holes in them. So we'll be able to see just a little peek of that scrapbook paper underneath. And I think y'all are going to like this one. Hey, Sam. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Kathy. Welcome. Thank you so much for sharing, Kathy. I appreciate you. All right. So you can comment mushroom to get the link to get this project. Okay. And if you haven't done it already, in order to save 30% on all your chalk purchases, you can sign up as my Perks member and save 30% on your purchases. Plus today, and only today, because it's launch day of the wedding and school collection, milestone collection is what they're calling it. You get a free transfer with your order on my website. So make sure that you place your order today to get that free transfer. It's super cute too. And I think you'll love that one. Plus, don't miss out on all the new stuff that was released today for weddings and for school. Hi, Wanda. How are you, love? All right. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm done with my painting situation here. Only doing the first layer with paint. I want to dry these pretty well before I pull them off of here so I don't end up with paint all over myself for once. We're going to see how that goes. All right. And of course, these are available on my Etsy. The link is in the message whenever you comment mushroom. Look how cute though. They're all different shapes and sizes. Different little patterns. Pretty cute. And I think they're a little sassy. So I'm excited to stash these in different places around my house. What do y'all think? I have a couple places in mind, but because they're individual little shelf sitters, I can put them anywhere. They don't have to be together, or they could if you want them to be together. But I have a few ideas on where I want them. Hopefully that's, yeah, okay, good. That works, Steph. So you should see the link come through to your messages. If you've never messaged me before, you might have to check your message requests. And if you have, then you'll see it just pop up in Messenger. And then if you're not getting notifications whenever I go live, obviously I would love for you to get notifications. So comment !notify. Every time when I say it, I have to what do I say again? I don't remember. !notify. And it's all one thing, okay? No space or anything in there for that. All right. That's my last one. All right, so pull this up. Again, the cleanup on this glass mat is awesome. Just a baby wipe. And this is acrylic paint, okay? So it's not like it's permanent on most stuff. Like, I've gotten it on my clothes before, and it was a struggle to come off. But literally just wipe it off, wet or dry. Super easy. I love it. makes me so happy to have such a quick cleanup of a mess, something that could be a real true mess. Okay, so now I have all my mushrooms here. These are the second layer. These are all 3 layers. And I picked some kind of neutral-ish colors, okay? And I wanted something that was kind of neutral, but also like earthy, I guess is the word. Now, I did pick 5 colors. I probably should have picked less, but that's okay. I'm going to cut a rough size out so that I'm not messing with this giant paper, okay? So I'm going to put that over there, and then also I need to clean up my area is what I need to do, but am I going to? Not right now. So I'm leaving to go to New Orleans in the morning for work, and I'm probably not going to be able to go live while I'm there because I have meetings all day for 3 days, and I'm coming home on Friday. But my coworkers, my bosses, are notorious for making us, not making us, having a work all day, obviously, and we're in meetings all day, and then we go immediately to dinner usually. So I don't think I'm going to be able to go live. The last couple times that I've traveled for work, I wasn't able to do a live while I was there, and so I'm not planning on doing one. So I'll see y'all in a couple of days. I will be posting some things while I'm gone. I was thinking about having a Etsy sale, maybe. So keep an eye out for that. And if you're not following my page, make sure that you do. Whenever you comment !notify, you'll start following my page. But you got to comment in order to see my content, okay? So make sure that you comment. Say hey when you see me. All right, so those are my colors. I really like these colors. Let me see if I can't bring all of these into the thing. Okay, so this is just regular old Mod Podge. We're going to do these one at a time so that we can heat set them right away. Okay, I just have like a little, one of these little cheapo foam brushes. Let me see if I can't. Okay. And that's not enough. Okay. That's better, I think. All right. So I'm doing a nice, generous coat, okay, on here. And then we're going to dry it first, okay? We're not going to do wet decoupage. I never have liked doing that because it's just a pain and you end up with bubbles and stuff, and ugh, it doesn't turn out looking great, in my opinion. So I prefer to do dry decoupage. So basically you just put your Mod Podge down, dry it really well. And then you can heat set your paper right on there. Okay, you can do this with paper. You can do it with tissue paper. You can do it with napkins, with like single ply napkins. Now this paper is a little thick, but it should work just fine. Now that I'm drying it, I'm considering just going ahead and we're going to Mod Podge them all because this is going to be a whole thing if we don't. All right, so we'll go ahead and Mod Podge them and then we'll start decoupaging, okay? Look, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here trying to figure it out just like y'all are. Hopefully it's not just me. I feel like I'm pretending to know what I'm doing most of the time. Does that make sense? To anyone else? I told a boss somebody that I worked for one time that I felt like I really didn't have the expertise that they thought I had, which I guess at my job I sort of do, but I've always felt like an imposter. And it's a real thing. So imposter syndrome is like where you feel like you're faking it. And that's how I feel about being an adult. Is like I really don't feel like I'm an adult at all. Don't feel like I'm qualified to be making adult decisions most of the time. I know that sounds silly. As somebody that's like lived in the world for long enough that I've made my own personal and other people's life choices, hence like raising a whole child. But I don't feel like I'm like a qualified adult, if that makes sense. To like be just out here in the world freely running around like without anyone policing my decisions. And, you know, it's funny because my mom just like encourages my choices. She's like, she always says, I just love to watch you spend money. And so she goes on with me on these adventures and to watch me spend money. Whether it be like grocery shopping, looking for a new purse, any number of things that I'm going to spend money doing. My mom's like, I want to watch that because... Thanks, Stephanie. I sure appreciate you, my friend. All right, so now we're going to dry these. And then we will decoupage them. Hopefully I'll remember which color went with which. I think we can line them up okay, pretty easily enough, I guess. And then I have my little mini heat press heating up right now. And I don't know if you have to have a heat press for this. You may be able to use an iron, an actual iron, okay? I have never tested that theory. But these little heat presses are pretty cheap, like $40. I have the Cricut one. You don't have to have a Cricut one. You can buy an off-brand one for even less than that, $20, $15. And get yourself a little heat press, and I promise you, you won't regret it if you like to decoupage things, because it makes it so simple to do it. Now, I'm going to dry this entirely, okay? So I've still got, as you can see, a few little blue spots here that are not quite there because I did kind of goof it on. But you want to make sure that your entire surface has glue on it. No need to pre-paint it or anything, unless if you're using a napkin that's kind of light and you don't want the background to show through, then you might want to pre-paint, but I usually don't. Just let it be the color that it is. If my napkin might show through, depending on what it is, I guess, but obviously I didn't pre-paint these. This paper is thick enough to where it's not going to be seen through. And basically the point of this is so that you dry the glue, and then once you heat set it, it reactivates the glue. We do need a couple different things. So I'm going to use a nail file probably for a lot of this, but I also have my sanding block too, so that we can get that paper off the edges, okay? Now, you don't want to burn this. If it was tissue paper or a napkin, then I would just burn it off around the edges, but because that's really thick, I don't want to start a fire in here, okay? But you could do the burn method with any other kind of material, pretty much, that's real thin. All right. And now I'm realizing I should have pre-done these, but that's okay. Show you my whole method. So anywho, I posted earlier asking about your weather. Today was the first day of spring. Welcome, spring. I would like to know, I saw some people, Marie had snow at her house. Other people had beautiful weather. We had great weather today. It was very spring-like. It's been a little bit chilly in the mornings, which is nice. And then it warms up in the afternoons. But it's been really, really gorgeous here. Alright. That one's about done. This one is not that close. That one's about done too. Let me bring these three that need to really be dried well. More, I guess, is the word. Together so that they can dry together. Alright. Now, I have some goopy glue here, so we're going to try and go with it now. Alright, this is the one that I was going to use on this piece, so I'm just going to take that, lay it on top. I do have my little heat pad thing. I'll put that down so that I don't hurt my glass mat. And I'm just going to, without knocking everything off my desk, okay? I'm going to take this and I'm going to, okay. I really do feel like I'm going to knock everything off of here. All right. Just like that, all around the edge. I'm going to heat set it, okay? So then it sticks, okay? I'm not holding it up or anything on there or anything like that, okay? So that's the first one down. Let's try this one next. Where's my paper? All right, here we go. So yeah, I would love to know about your weather, where you are. And that one works good. Okay, now we're getting to the part where I'm not sure what color I picked for which one. That's okay, we'll figure it out. Let me move these so that they don't get knocked off. Okay, just like that. Very cold, huh? Well, that stinks for you. Okay, so there's my next one. And I'm just kind of checking to make sure that it's really glued on there well. And I know this doesn't look quite dry yet, but we're gonna go ahead and go for it. I think it's probably good enough. All right. There we go. And that did work, so that's good news. Hi, Marie. How are you, love? Welcome. All right, now the last one. Just like that. And we're good. Now, bring this back over here. I'm going to turn that off so it can cool down. And then we're going to take our sanding block. Okay, this is a 60 grit sanding block. And, you know, I'm going to actually just trim a little bit around this so that it's not so much. And in those little crevices, we're really going to have to use a nail file probably to get in there, okay? But if I trim it down some, that'll just be easier to get in there. Yeah? I love that for you. Well, they're making a comeback. And I swear my grandma had that cookie jar and like the flour thing canister, those different canisters with the mushrooms on them. I swear she did. I don't know if she did or not, but I feel like I remember that from my childhood. All right. Here we go. All right. There. Now it's a little bit more manageable, okay? So let's just begin at the beginning, and we're just gonna go just like this and work our way around, sanding that edge, okay? And just basically carrying that. And you want a lower grit sanding block, okay? This one's 60 to really work that paper, especially for thicker paper, okay? You may not need such a heavy-duty sandpaper for like tissue paper or a napkin because it will tear a lot easier. But for this kind of paper, the lower grit sandpaper is going to save you. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to just skip those little edges. You know? My nail file is actually working a little bit better. Wondering if it's, I think it might, little sanding block might be a little bit worn. Maybe it's time to order a new one. But my nail file is working a little better, so that's interesting. So there we go. And then right in that corner, I'm just kind of pushing in so that I get a crisp little corner cut out, okay? Now, remember, this is layered, so we're going to have a layer on top of this. So this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you will be able to see the edges, okay? So just keep that in mind while you're doing this. Oh my gosh. It's actually not bad. With this paper, it's very thick. All right. All right, so there we go. We have our first one. My gosh, that took a hot minute, but that's okay. And I'm giving myself carpal tunnel, so that's fun. Trying to hold on to this thing while I... Oh. All right. Well, I tell you, I keep seeing mushrooms everywhere. And I swear they're coming back. So I hope y'all love this. Maybe not like they once were, but if we're still doing tier trays, I think these would be a super cute addition to a little tier tray. Oh, my hand is like on fire. Okay. And this is just a regular nail file that I actually brought in here in my craft room initially. Not this craft room, but my original. When I was in my house in Tennessee, brought it into my craft room because I would be in there working, like making content or using the computer, and I would need a nail file. And then I realized that I could use it for crafts. And so it went in my drawer as mainly a craft supply. Now I do occasionally, I've been known to use a sanding block to buff my nails. Maybe not to file my nails with, but definitely like a 220 grit to buff my nails. Have y'all done this? Hopefully it's not just me. If I've got a little bit of a rough nail situation going on. That is one thing I can't stand, is a hangnail. Like a nail that gets caught up on something. Oh man, y'all. I will freak out about it. Or dry lips. I have to have chapstick. Like, I'm addicted. So chapstick, and it always boggles my mind that there are people out there in the world that walk around and don't need chapstick. Or people that don't walk outside and immediately have to have sunglasses, y'all. I cannot be walking around outside without sunglasses in the sun. I mean, I will freak if I go somewhere and I have to drive, especially, or really do anything that involves the outdoors without sunglasses. I have been known to stop at a store and purchase a cheapo pair if I somehow lost or destroyed mine. This is giving me goosebumps all over. I don't like it. Like nails on a chalkboard here. Okay. All right, there's my next one. And also lotion. Anybody else have to have lotion? Oh my gosh. I gotta have it. I got that dry skin, dry lips. My eyes are already pretty squinty whenever I go outside, so like in the sun, so I can't be exposing them to the sunlight. All right. Okay. And I've always wondered too, like whenever I work in an office, you know, I always like bring a few little things. I always have a bottle of lotion. I always have a chapstick. I have certain necessities that I have to bring, right? Sometimes I'll even take a blanket and put it in my desk drawer at work. And I always wonder if anybody else like ever gets nosy and looks in the desk drawers of people and they're like looking in there like, what does this girl have in here? And it's like a bunch of strange things like that. Like a whole throw blanket. I get cold. I have one on my lap right at this moment because it's freezing in this house. All right, there we go. Last one is coming up, and then we're going to move on. Sorry, I know this is like not what y'all came here to watch, but that's okay. Let me see if I can't. All right. All right. I know that was a lot, so thanks for hanging out. Sticking through it with me. I feel your pain. All right. There we go. Let me wipe my hands off. My gosh, this is a lot of dust on my hands. All right. Now, here we go. So we've got our little mushrooms. Let's work on putting them together real quick. And then we have, well, you know what? Probably use our, so this is the transfer we're going to use. This is the patterns. This one's called Bold Patterns. Okay. I am going to wax these before I put my pattern on them. So wax really quick. This is surface wax from my shop. Just get a little tiny bit. You don't need a lot. Okay. And spread it on all of them. Basically, it's going to help protect the transfer and the surface. Keep from pulling up that paint. We're going to just use white tonight. I've got bright white paste right here and a mini squeegee. So I'm going to just start with this one. And then I've got my fuzzing cloth. I'm going to fuzz really quickly. And there's plenty of different patterns here to choose from. Okay, for these, little cuties. There's like 4, and then there's another piece with several patterns on it. So you can do all the same pattern if you like. You can do different ones. And I think we're going to try a little bit of all of them. Just like that. Okay. And again, that's bright white. That's a cute little pattern. I like that one. Okay, with my gray background, set that to the side. And then I'm gonna do this other one. There's like all kinds of different little flowers and line prints on this. Let's see. There we go. Make sure you stick it down really well, okay, so that you don't have any leaks. Okay. I like that one too. That one's like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a floral, leafy type print. Looks pretty good. All right, and then we have some little flowers. I don't know if y'all could see that print. Let's see if we can't fit this whole mushroom. Yeah, we can. Turn it diagonal. A little bit of a diamond shape. And go for it. Again, these patterns are repeatable though, just like all the other patterns are. So if you find that you need to extend the pattern, then you always can do that. Just line up the edge and you'll be able to find right where it lines up. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that one's really cute. I like it. It's kind of retro. A little like retro looking flowers. Super cute. Let's do one more little one, and then we have our tall one, which I have the perfect one for that. This one's just like lines, like crosshatched lines, sort of. Okay. So I have these little mushrooms, and they're layered shelf sitter set. That was kind of a tongue tie. So I decoupaged underneath on the second layer, and I painted the top layer, and now I'm doing the transfer on the top layer. And then we're going to put them all together, and they're going to be super cute. Like that line pattern. All a little bit different, but still from the same family, you know. Oops, well. All right, so there's this pattern that's like just a bunch of different kind of almost like tribal looking. And this fits like perfectly on this. I couldn't have planned this better. if I tried. Seriously, this fits diagonally on here just like a glove, okay? Like when Ace Ventura parks that Jeep in the jungle at that kidnapper's house, and he comes out and says, like a glove. That is the way that just fit on there. Okay, so that one's kind of different, and I'm liking it. Okay, so now let me move some of my stuff out of here. Make sure and get these really dry. Make sure that they're completely and entirely dry. Before we go on. And hi, Alma. How are you tonight? I hope you're doing great. Oops. So, I noticed I have a little bit of overhang, but that's okay. I think we'll hopefully be all right there. So now what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, look how cute that's going to be. Okay, so now we're going to take all of these and start gluing together. Okay, now I'm going to use stick fast. Okay, this glue will glue your hands together or to a cutout, so try not to do that. Okay, we're gonna do a brown layer on the base, and we're gonna go slow. Okay, make sure that these are really lined up. Okay, because if not, they're not gonna stand up on their own. Hi, Rebecca. How are you, my love? All right, next. Just a little bit of the stick fast goes a long way, okay? Now, please remember that in order for these to stand up, you do need to use stick fast glue. You cannot use hot glue for some reason that I don't understand or know. They will not stand up with only 3 layers if you use hot glue or any other glue that I've tried, okay? But magically, they'll stand up with stick fast, okay? So look how stinking cute that is. So let's do the next one. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. Just Precious. Okay. Just like that. Make sure that you go slow and hold them. And make sure that they're super lined up. I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me. I sure appreciate it. Okay. Just a little bit. Like you can see, I just barely used any. And this stuff sticks amazing. It will glue you to it, to whatever surfaces. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. If you don't be careful or use too much, you will be glued to a cutout pretty easily. Look at that one. Okay, again, the standing up test works great. Let's go for this one. I love this color in the background. It's so good. I'm glad I did kind of neutral colors and not like springy colors so that I can plan to have these out for more than just the springtime. Okay. And then a little bit of Stick Fast. And then just line it up by holding it all together, okay? Getting all those edges lined up. That one wants to stand up. It does, I can tell. It's struggling for sure. And it's not quite dry yet, so. But they have to be super perfectly lined up. There we go. To be able to stand. So keep that in mind also, please. Don't just slap your layers together without making sure that they're aligned, which now I'm recognizing I need to push it against the table to really be certain that we're lined up. See, every single time I use this glue, I glue myself to something, and I almost just did it just now. Trying my best not to, and somehow it always happens to me. That one's good. Y'all, these are stinking cute. So anyway, you can comment mushroom to get the link to get all these. Okay, they come in a set. Get your own paper or tissue or napkins, or you can paint the background. You don't have to decoupage them. Okay, but I thought it would be a fun twist. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, sign up to be my Perks member so you can get 30% off all of your chalk purchases with me. And if I can get this to dry, I will let y'all go back to your evening. But that one's already wanting to stand up on its own too. Just perfect. Look how cute. So I'm going to let that one kind of settle for a minute. And close this glue because we're going to have it everywhere if not. Okay. So there's a couple of our little mushrooms. What do you think? I hope you'll love them. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know this was a long one tonight, but I sure do appreciate you. I will see you all very soon. Have a great night. Bye.